Happy Monday. Is that a thing? Let's just make sure all the levels are level and nice and happy today. Hold on. I think I just figured something out because I'm dumb. Yep. Boy, guys, I'm sucking tonight. All right, well, let's go ahead and hit the stuffs. And if you guys, whoever decides to go ahead and tune into this at some point in the future, as probably a subscriber, thank you, my loyal 10. Can't help but say I appreciate it. You coming on tonight? Question mark. Talking to Bill's Bits. So this is back in action after a long absence. Installed, very nice, happy, happy-go-lucky, precious things called stainless steel saddles. High recommendation. Very high recommendation. Ooh. Tone says hello. Listen to that. All right, so as the story goes, we're going to talk Exodus today, after we got past all that crap. So, I've been thinking about, and then somebody marvelous decided to hit me up on one of my instructional vids. I wouldn't really call it an instructional vid, though. I would call it, yeah, I think a better term is just a tutorial or, guidance counselor-oriented content. Like, hey, you know how to do this? Well, let's help you through it. Let's get you going. Coaching, if anything. I like the term coach. Guitar coach is good. So, as a guitar coach, as your friendly neighborhood guitar coach, we got a thing, a comment on the video, like I was saying before, asking me to do maybe some Testament or Exodus or stuff like that. It was on the nuclear assault one I just did. There's too much sugar in this. Oh my god. I mean, it's delicious, but... And I forgot to put tea water on before this, so I've got no tea tonight. Oh, my lord. But at any rate, getting on with the story. So the thing about Exodus is they wanted older Exodus, which is good because I'm more of an older Exodus fan myself. The whole H crew or the H team or whatever. The, Holt and Hunolt guys, which, I met Rick in a Denny's bathroom ages past, but so the that's a fun story, which I have posted somewhere up here, by the way. So if anybody's interested and want to go peruse my older stuff, you'll probably not find it directly, but you'll find it buried in another tune I did from Exodus with a, click this link to go for the story. You go to the story and it tells you about it. It's fun. Yeah. So getting on with the story, not that story, this one. So what we are going to do instead of any of that other, like hyper shreddy type of stuff. Well, that's fun. Nice delay. Is we're going to kind of go over the Exodus tune that I chose to do this, which is kind of a very popular tune of theirs. It's Kimmikill. And it starts out with this great... It's clean, so I'm going to clean up a little. Now, that's pretty easy. I mean, if you wanted to do a full-blown chord, you can, but I don't hear a major in that, so that's kind of where it's at. Oh, hello, email. Oh, isn't that cute? I got an out for delivery notification. So the problem with out for delivery notifications from UPS is if they've given it to the post office and it's now out for delivery and it's 6 o'clock in the evening, that means it's coming tomorrow. It's not today. So I got a couple of cables coming, maybe another hat. So, yeah, good times. Next week, we'll see. So, at any rate, this is a lot like doing a, type of deal. All you're doing, I guess we could call this a flat 9, sharp 5, so it's definitely more in the augmented category. So this would be E augmented, flat 9. And I guess the A would be a 4, so that's, sus 4. But in this case, we're just using there's your root is G. And technically it's going up 1. So there's your flat 9. Your sharp 5. Flat 9, sharp 5. There's your sus there. Going on with it. And you're flattening that back down, but this is still going to be a root 5, 4. There's your 5. That's the root. 5. 4. Right. G. Big G5. That's basically G, 5th. And if you're wondering if I'm sounding a little off to you as far as like the tuning is concerned, it's because I'm literally 2 cents flat from E standard, which is where you're going to find them on Pleasures of the Flesh, at least with this tune for sure. So that's the whole start. Yeah, of course, use new Chris. Yes, of course. So we were talking about guitars that have direct mounted pickups, and he mentioned that somebody to which we've seen before who builds guitars suggests like flip-flop or sandal foam to use under the pickups as kind of to push them up against the caps of the screws. And that gives you a little resistance when lowering or raising the pickups. Assist in raising, lowering its resistance. So, which is kind of nice. I use regular foam. I have some pretty good dense stuff somewhere around here, but I use regular foam, and on top of that regular foam, sometimes surgical tubing or something like that. But the regular foam seems to be regular. It's pretty dense stuff, but. It seems to work out pretty well. But I mentioned to him that I think it might be smart if if you're using flip-flop foam for your pickup, I don't know, height adjustment help, that it shouldn't be used. Used flip-flop foam. What's that smell? I don't know what the smell is. It's terrible. So. So anyway, we're doing a big old G. It's basically 5th chord, then 5th chord, octave of that. Then you'll get some nice... That's why the delay's on. And when they go into what I assumed was a power chord thing. We'll get into that in a minute. But this is actually done just with 4s. So you're playing the lower note on top of the higher note, with the higher note being the root. So when they're doing that, there's a couple of little, kind of lead trade-off type of things. They don't really, I don't think, do that live especially anymore, but starting out with that thing, took me a while to figure out that it was just harmonics. So start with the bar, and you will need a bar for this, or you're going to have to detune and then tune right back up really, really fast. Good luck, Jakey Lee. So, on the 5th fret, G string. And you just kind of 3, 4. Now, if we want notes, that's a G, this is an F, and that's a B. So, then back to the... So, seems how at least one of these guys was a student of Satriani, Rick. And the other guy was a student of Satriani, Gary. You're going to get some licks like that. This is very Satriani type of thing to play. Well, it's also kind of a Michael Schenker thing to play, but it's kind of back and forth. But so, again, with it... just... Let me play it one more time. Now the fun riff comes in because it's kind of a na na. So you got to pay attention to the rhythm on that, and just alone. Type of things. So then that's pretty much it, the whole song. Now, before they go into the crazy lead sections, and I don't mean crazy, it's not really nuts, it's just you're changing keys. They transpose the whole thing down from G to E. So you will get the... Excuse me. At that point, again, no, you're omitting that part, so you don't want to hear the third. Hey, doggy. Do you need to go outside? Oh, it looks like you don't need to. Okay, that's fine. Dog does not need to go out. Dog doesn't need to go out. It's not my fault. I don't know. Guitar feels really good to play again. What can I say? It's also really nice to play through a real amp again. For the last couple of days, I've been playing through, other stuff. Specifically, I've been playing through, the Rabea Archetype from Neural DSP. Own the Pliny. In both cases, Pliny, and then I got Pliny X because I got it for free because I already own the Pliny, so that's nice. There's more sounds to be had, and it's just a lovely thing. Although I will say this, and I mean this sincerely, the original Pliny has like the best tuner next to G-Tune, which is a free tuner, VST, that I've ever used. It's just good. It's so good. It's so perfect. It's so accurate. It tells you exactly where you are, and it's really got fast tracking. Rabea's is pretty good too. It's basically the same type of thing. You hit it, and it moves around, and you should tune your stuff. But the thing that really, gets to me is that when they went from the original Pliny to the Pliny X, the Pliny X has lots of delay in comparison. They did something to the tuner. It wasn't right. I don't know what they did programmatically that routed it differently, but it's not right. It's great sounding. Really, really great sounding. But the tuner itself is a little... All right, so, and we're off to the races once again. So why have I been playing through the Rabea? Well, because the sound that I could get out of that through that guitar, this guy right here, and then my white Strat back there, not the Jackson back there, but the white Strat back down there, and I've played it before, it's a scalloped one. That, this whole thing with Diary being like, excuse me. Actually, if you want to play that right. There we go. Let's play it with fingers. The tones I was getting out of my real amps were pretty good. Felt good because real amps feel good. Felt right. Sounded okay. I hear it back, and I just don't think it's worth the hassle. No offense to any of the folks out there. I wanted it to sound right, and I didn't want to have to tinker with it later on, mic placement and all that kind of stuff. I needed to get this done, and I'm closer now than I was because I have done some electric parts, but I still have all the acoustic parts to go, plus I still have the Strat stuff to do. even though I played on the Strat last night. It wasn't going, and it was close to my bedtime, so I figured, you know what, I'll hang it up till tomorrow. Oh, wait, tomorrow I'm streaming. I'll start Tuesday. So, but there's a lot of layers, and there's a lot of textures. And with the electric guitars, you know, with the heavy rhythms, it's not as hard to do something like that. But with the acoustic guitars, which I think there's 7, it is a lot more complex because, you know, you've got to make sure that you play the right parts on the right things. And so Tuesday is when I'm going to, you know, after I knock out the, you know, stuffs, this part specifically. Stuff like that. Once I knock all that out, then I can get to the acoustics. The acoustic stuff, I've got to play with microphones. I'm going to either use this and the 57 to mic them, which is going to give me a lot of tracks. Maybe this guy. I'm not entirely sure, but if I use the 57 in that, that's fine. I can't use that with my setup because with this, that is, because this requires phantom power, and the other one will blow up if you give it phantom power. So I can't do that. It's a ribbon mic after all, so you just got to be kind of, you know, careful about it. But I want to see what sounds right, and especially what sounds right for a guitar going over a lot of guitars anyway. You know, the density is already there, and I want to try to make it as seamless as possible. So it's going to take a lot of time. Anyway, so let's talk about some of those parts, especially the ones that I did yesterday. So the electric heavier stuff, which sounds pretty good as it is, in my opinion. Of course, I'm not hearing it over that microphone, over the broadcast software and all that, now over to YouTube and what kind of compression you're getting out of it. But really, all I'm running right now is I'm running a you know, Ghost Rain delay, echo, really. The Keeley compressor, decent settings. It's mixed most of the way out, but there's a little bit in there just to give it some crispness. And of course, the rhythm channel on the Ironheart unboosted. Sounds great. This bridge pickup is better. There we go. Now this, everybody knows this. You're never really hitting a full-blown harmonic though. But a lot of people don't understand that what's going on there is not just your electric. It's there, but underneath, that's also going on as well, with a different instrument. So what you're going to hear, though, if you're going to try to comp this and kind of do it in a live-ish fashion, as I've talked before about muting techniques, you're not choking it. And you're not choking these two either. None of that. You're kind of lightly... So you're hearing that. It's the same as if you put your finger just above the nut. You're just kind of hearing that in the background. There's a little muting going on. So, see where it's coming from? You're still hearing the note. It's just kind of muted. And this is almost entirely not muted. But you kind of have to... Well, thank you. But the way you do it is, you know, you kind of have to be selective and listen to what notes are actually muted and what notes are not. Especially here. You know, the ones that are cut a little short, obviously the palm of the hand is going down there a little bit. Oh, hey, dude, how you doing? So, good evening to you, sir. Tip of the hat to you. So, I'm talking about Diary. If you have any questions, let me know. But, you know, because that's a long overdue, it's coming up, but not until October, even though I'm recording it this month, deal. But there's a lot of guitars on this. So, but, you know, we get to the other parts we all know. It's really simple, you know, again with the heavy electrics, doing the part that just goes... That's simple. So, I think there's one guitar that's just doing one note. And there's like 3 guitars at least going on in there. So, as far as like the heavier ones are concerned, you can hear a chord. But you can also hear one slightly, and he's not just doing this. That's not going on. It's distinct, it's different, there's something else in there. So, and that's A, G, F, G, F, G, A. And of course, like I said, I'm playing slightly flat of standard E because of the Exodus stuff. Do that one note part, the... Cool. Let's get you by the end of this playing the lead. Or at least this. What do you think? Can you do it? Can you? Can you? Can you? I think you can. So if you can do this, then you can definitely kind of separate that there. It's a lovely, you know, it's lovelier when it's in tune. So the thing about that is that's kind of a it's almost like a open like an open arpeggio. So essentially, or open thirds, that is. Open triad. That's the word. And everybody knows that from Foxy Lady. You know. Or Miracle Man. There's another one. There we go. So. Now, the way a lot of tabs, including a tab book that I had when I was a kid, teaches this is wrong. And here's why. So they teach it like this. An open, or I've seen it before. But you can distinctly hear a slide before the top part. There's a slide up to that. Doubtful. Here's why I think it's this way. As opposed to... So, think about it. Listen to it. If you don't think that last one sounds correct, it's all the same notes. All of it. It's all the same notes. You don't think that one sounds correct, slow it down. Slow it way down and listen. You can hear a shift. He shifts his hand. So he's going up, definitely. But this is too far. This is a quick... it's got to be it. It's got to be. That's got to be it. Not only that, but it leaves you in a really good position to start the lead. So he was probably thinking about, live stuff as well. Tenured guitarists, good musicians always think about, all right, how are they going to play this knowing what they've got to play next? So that's, one way to get there is to already be there. Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Guitar Tunings. Or Mrs. Or Miss. And you take it up just to the... just a little bit above pitch on that last one. And it's really quick. It's almost strangely melancholy happy, you know. That's... Then you go up a little higher. And Randy's got a kind of a faster vibrato, so you got to kind of, you know, go, man, go to catch up. So. But it's still controlled, it's still even, but it's kind of quick. Oh, by the way, these, I do highly recommend them. They're not that expensive, but if you can catch them on sale and they're even less expensive, it's even cooler. The one recommendation I would make, I mean, even the pickups are good. So I don't even have to change them out. They're pink. They're hot pink, for God's sakes, and it does match the headstock. It's nice. But the one recommendation I have on this in total is you may at some point have problems with the saddles. Just replace them with stainless steel ones. Take a little bit of like 6,000 grit sandpaper after you file. Just a tiny little bit in here to make it a little bit less like a clipper for your string, and then it should be fine. But these are like $50. So actually I got these for like $34. Shipped straight probably from China to there and then straight to my door. So Texas, yay. So but yeah, so the Diary solo is it is his Stairway to Heaven solo. You know, it's the last one he ever recorded. And it does kind of start out in a similar fashion to the way Stairway starts out, but you know, type of thing. And it goes down a minor blues, which is, you know, it's A minor pentatonic, but you incorporate the flat 5, so, and actually you're including that because that's kind of a Rhodesism as well. So don't forget to hit your F, you know, and thank your F on the way out. There we go. And it's skipping straight down. You're not hitting the 5th. Skipping straight from the, you're not hitting the 4th. Skipping from the flat 5 straight down to the 3. So. Then this is really cool because this is a very harmonic minor, but it isn't quite. In a second, you'll see. So this would be the root to flat 7, or root to natural 7 to root. So very harmonic minor. Now that's just the neatest thing he's ever done, in my opinion. Humble opinion. And then you're hanging out on the natural 7 again. That's F, E, E flat, E. And he's literally just kind of going around and just kind of mocking the scalular system, but in a really nice kind of Beethoven kind of way. Because there's your root, flat of that. This would technically be a flat 9, so, or, you know, it's a flat 2, but because the 3rd's in there, it's going to be a 9. Anytime you run up against that, by the way, all the even numbers in the beginning, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. Well, the even numbers being 2, 4, 6, and so forth. All those, when you take them up, 7 notes, they become odd numbers. And so it's nice to remember that your 2 is a 9, your 4 is an 11, and your 6 is a 13. And you can go higher, but nobody really ever does, especially on the guitar. You know, so this is the 27th. Flat 27th. Yeah, no, just call it what it is. It's a 9, you know. Those kind of voicings only really matter if you've got like 90 fingers on a piano, and you know that you only have 88 keys. So good luck. So this. And you end it there. You know, an octave lower, which is pretty freaking fantastic. Sticking with the chromaticisms. So, just playing the same thing kind of an octave higher. Which is pretty darn cool, if you ask me. This is, you know, way out of line as far as the key is concerned. This... C, A flat, or G sharp, and right there is another E flat. Just, it's totally out, but it works. It just, you know, it's really drawing tension. Same type of things. Just kind of played out separately anyway. Now, there's a couple of different ways to play this, but he kind of slides there. So I do it here, and I try to let the C not occupy too much space. But that's A. You're outlining an A minor arpeggio, or triad. Then up one note, down, so from F to E. And this is on the 17th fret, by the way, so 17, 13, 14. Then we, like I was saying, highlight this again. This, we're not quite going up that far, but this is clearly harmonic minor. But there's that note that's not really there. Harmonic minor here would be... This is closer to something like Palog. The shift is important because if you don't shift, you'll be playing it like this. And what you have to do next is more difficult. So it pays to shift now to continue shifting. So that's 12, 13, 16. That's, again, 16, 13, 12. Shift up one fret to middle index, middle, on your A, G sharp, A. C, then E flat, E, F. So just like down here, this is a constant motif. This is the genius of Randy Rhoads. He's using these notes again and again for effect to draw you in and just, hey, Danny, how you doing, man? So he's drawing you in with these just for effect, and it's wonderful. So down there, ending just like that down here, which again, he's using those notes again and again for effect to draw you in, but he's building it to a crescendo. It's just getting higher and higher and higher. And he's not using them in exactly the same way, but they're still showing up, but they're still showing up in relatively similar patterns. So he's built a motif, established that, and he's kind of moving it up and up and up. But the motif is a little deceptive because it's not exactly the same each time. So this, F, E, and then E flat, and this would be C, B, and G sharp. And thank God he ends it normally, because this is just a minor pentatonic starting from the 4th, well, the 5th technically. So that's this, or played correctly. So if you think about it, there's other ways you could do it if you wanted to sound a little more like Rick Emmett, for instance. You know, that's kind of triumphant. It's a great joke. And there's your ending to it. So that's the great stuff. Everything else that he plays in there, with, you know, heavier bound electrics. Again and again, all that kind of stuff. Just repeats. So effectively what I've done in triplicate is the easy parts. I'm even including the lead as kind of the easy part because in comparison, in my opinion, to the classical parts, it is easy. So let's go to clean, because that's what everybody wants to hear. There we go. And play with your fingers. So for this, and I think I've... That's a lovely sound. It's not the right chord, but it's a lovely sound. Now, this, you could just kind of do it this way. And then just repeat upwards. If that's wrong, do the right one. There it is. And that's 3 and 4. Just making a nice little, again with the open triad type of thing. But that's not included. That's even closer. That's not right. it would probably be here. Could be, but there's no bass note to it. That's just a nice way to end it. Then, and there's a little, but it's not like I did. It's just very quick. As though. There's a couple of different ways you can finger that. I finger it this way. I've done it this way since I was a kid, which is the second chord in the opening. But this, would be a diminished to, what the heck would that be? Major with the 9, so it's major 9. Nice. So, and F, in fact. So, going on with the story. And it's got this nice falling thing. So anybody who knows anything about classical music will know that if you have a descending chromatic line, it's kind of indicative of like death. So he had a deep knowledge of this. I'm 25. I know he taught for like 15 years at his mom's school, but he had a really, really deep working knowledge of the way music is supposed to work and sound. Dude, Randy was the man. I'm just a lifelong devotee. I am twice the age he was when he passed away, and it absolutely, I'm still chasing him. Yeah, granted, a lot of the stuff he plays was in my technique, is within it. But as far as like writing like him, I don't want to write like I want to write like me, but just literal genius stuff, man. Just genius stuff. What's this? Affirmative. Oh, no. Worry not, good sir, because this too shall be short. I will be getting out of here at 8, no later. Period. Which means I got an hour and 10 minutes to go. So if anybody's got any questions about this or anything else, somebody say something? Oh, wait. He doesn't exactly play it that way every single time. I think a couple of times but it's not that way every time. I am hearing this, for instance, and that's just freaking cool. But yeah, deep knowledge of stuff. In fact, I've got here something. Leo Brouwer. That's it. So this originally was a study of Leo Brouwer's, and I keep calling him like Berlioz, and or Berlioz, August Berlioz Mangor, not the same guy. They aren't the same guy, and I continually confuse them. I should know better. I do not know better. It is what it is. What you got? Hey dude, what's up? Where do you get one of them electric twangers? Well, y'all get off to your old Guitar Center. Hold on a second. I gotta take a sip of this beer. That's what it is. Yeah. Notice the color kind of matches, though. That's kind of nifty. So, these are smart people. So, When you buy the coconut water with it, with the pulp, sweetened or not, that is way too sweet. But when you do that, y'all make sure that you drink it while it's cold. It's okay while it's warm, but the chillier it is, the nicer it is. Kind of like your beer when it goes flat and it's all... So, all right. So, one of these here electric twangers, your local Guitar Center will hook you up. Sweetwater probably can too, but I like the guys at Guitar Center a lot better right now because, and here's why, and it's a dumb reason, because they have those stores in more places than Indiana, and I can walk in and try a guitar, like I tried out this one, and walked out of it for half the price of it new, which made me really happy. So... Well, at any rate, earlier on in this, I was talking about Exodus. Just lovely, isn't that? It's like surf, but something's not right. Is that corn beer, Bill? Going on with the story, let's get back to the game. Volume pedal might be better. Gee, how'd you know it was Kimmy Kill? Aha! That works better. And then, of course, your lyrics. There. Try not to hit the... Don't do that like I did. So, and all that, again, is the same. Everything I've just played continues throughout the song, which is really, really nice for an Exodus tune. It just kind of keeps you moving and grooving, and it's going. Back at it, this then goes to E. So... not hitting the G string at all. We don't want to hear. I mean, you could do this. It'd be fine. And it would be good. And then a whole lot of leads start, you know. Which I've got to figure out still because I haven't gone that far yet. So how's life out there? I've talked about everything that I wanted to talk about, but I'll talk about more crap. Any questions regarding instrumentality? And no, well, yeah, we could talk about Neon Genesis too if you want. The Human Instrumentality Project. We can talk about speedy stuffs. We can talk about weird tappy things like... That's it. Something like that. Do all sorts of stuff. Well, my favorite arpeggios, there are two different types of arpeggios, which I really, really, really like doing. So one is a seventh arpeggio, which is, as you know, or it's a triad with a seventh on top, or a seventh below. So that's the fun thing about the seventh being below, is you can do this. and do the whole Stranger Things. Basically, the shape is. So that's fun. That's a whole lot of fun. The other kind of, and I actually did that in a song once called, what was that called? Oh, good Lord. What was the name of that tune? Name that tune. Somebody just put a tune on it. It's pretty a good one. But that's that shape for a major 7 arpeggio. You can apply anywhere. So where I did it was here. And it's got a really nice lift off. Type of thing. Aha. And then I played some crazy stuff, but I basically did it the same way. That was it. Yeah. Man, can't think of the name of the tune. It really doesn't matter. It's a good tune, though. So, other arpeggios. So, sticking with the 7th thing, a long time ago I learned this. Now, you can play that all sorts of ways. You can just do... You can do that. You can, instead of playing a 7th, play a straight triad. Instead of the 7, you can play a triad. Fun stuff. Take that anywhere you want to go. So those are things that are kind of like fun to mess around with. My opinion, of course. But so the 7, we've got that. We've got the more 7. That's harder to do. The dominant one. So I'll play 2 more. The one I just kind of started out doing was the diminished shape. Okay, and what's another one? And I can go over these in slower detail if anybody wants me to. What's another arpeggio that I really like to do? Well, I guess this. So if we're back to my normal pick. Best unknown shredders? Okay. So there was a girl in a band. Yeah, I'm going to talk about a girl first. Is the best female guitarist I've ever heard in my entire life. Up here in Washington State, we had something called what is that? Woodstock West, and it was played at something called the Rainbow Valley Festival. And back in like 1993, in the summer of '93, a bunch of that stuff was filmed. So I know this exists. It's out there somewhere. But there was a band from Tacoma, because they told you where it's from, and they told you the name of the band. It was a 3-piece, the husband and wife team, husband on like a 6-string bass, wife on, trying to be John Petrucci on an electric guitar. But I swear to God, I've never heard a female guitarist as good as her. She was, and when I say that, I'm not saying that with disdain for common female guitarists, but Orianthi sucks. So, I think there's a different standard here. I'm talking about on the standard of absolute merit, This gal was god tier. She was really, really, really good. And I've only seen that performance. They played like 2 songs, maybe, and then it disappeared. And it was only on public access on TCTV in Olympia. This is, like I said, about 93, 94 maybe. And I lost to history. I've tried to find video clips, at least once or twice a year ever since. I try to look it up and see if I can find anything. Believe me, it's impossible. I can't do it. So, if anybody knows the Destiny guitar player from the 90s, and it was a 3-piece instrumental trio, please, somebody, post something, for God's sakes. Great guitar player. And, the world is lacking this level of skill. Believe me, there's a lot of good skill out there, but that's skill. All right, so Unknown. I'm going to have to restrict this to partly known. Because Daniele Guittardo is one of my favorite guitarists nowadays. I like Plenty a lot, but he's not also very unknown. He might be unknown to, the older crowd of the... shreddy types, but these are people that are relatively young, and they actually give me hope for the future of guitar music. So they're very, very, very good. So yeah, Daniele Guittardo, Plenty, that chick from Destiny. I don't know if it was Dance with Destiny. Or, I just remember it being called Destiny. So yeah, good stuff. Public access still in existence? No, it's not. In fact, their old building is not even the Comcast building anymore. That's gone. So it is completely gone. So actually, you know what? TCTV moved. I can ask, I guess. I know where they are. They are closer to the state capitol now. So maybe one of these days I can just kind of shoot in and go, do you guys have any archive cassettes from way back when? 93, 94, and they'll probably go, oh, no. Because we don't have a public access station, as far as I know, anymore after Comcast took it over. So when Comcast did the full takeover, TCTV went kind of away, which is really too bad. There was some great stuff on there. And nobody does this stuff anymore, We had... All of us with our own, large enough audience, I would say, built in, with our own public access channels, had an outlet. All we had to do was pitch a show, and then maybe pay them a little money, and then you get to do the thing, or at least produce it, and they'll play it. And we had this one guy, had a great, very humorous show that should have probably had more mainstream access, because the guy was great. He was great comedy writer. He was one of these, I can't even talk about it. His name was, it was Funny Guy on the Prowl, is how I knew him. And I saw he had a day job. I didn't know about that, but I'm walking by with a friend of mine named Gwen, and I kind of glance over, and he smiles, and I recognize him. I'm like, Gwen, that's Funny Guy on the Prowl. And she's like, who? Funny Guy on the Prowl. He's on television. And, you got to go back and say hello to him. I'm like, he's obviously working there. It's a job. I'm not going to go back in there, but I go back in there because she basically takes me. Go, Kurt, go in there. And so I say, hi, how you doing today? And it's a tuxedo store. And he's like, I'm doing very well, and I am who you think that I am. And I'm like, dude, just keep producing the shows. It's great. He said, it's good to know we've got a fan out there. I don't know what I have no idea what happened to him, but I'll tell you what, it would have been like a evening magazine, or what did they used to do? Something like Evening Magazine before it was more of a comedy thing. But I can't quite place it. Almost Live. It was kind of like, that, but a little different. I mean, he had footage of a nudist cooking bacon. Of course, it was just from the waist up. On lower back, and all you hear the crackling of the bacon, and then you hear a pop of the bacon. And he's like, and he goes, it was great for the time, dude. It was so fantastic. We had our own metal show that made Metal Shop look as bad as it was, because you get 3 thrash tunes and the triple thrash threat. Some of it wasn't even thrash. It's like, what the hell is that called thrash? Well, that's not thrash. Maybe it's death metal. Come on, let's get some categorization, correctness going here. But yeah, what do you do? So, but at any rate, that was that. Some other guitar players that are relatively unknown. Let's see. I've got a small list. This is not a question that comes up very often, but I do tend to have... Oh, okay, here's one. Yeah, let's see if I can find him. Eric Friesen. That was a good guitar player. He is no longer with us. Died in a car accident. Say, they usually keep that stuff forever. Well, you know what? Let's hope they keep the stuff forever, because I am now galvanized. Okay, I'll go in. I didn't even think of that as an option or a possibility. So, let's see here. What do we have here? In my Guitar-y folder. Yeah, Eric Friesen. He used to play in a band called Windham Hell. And he also did these things that you can still find online called the Friesenberg Concertos. And he wasn't very old. He lived not too terribly far from here. I mean, the grand scheme of things, geographically speaking. He still lived in western Washington State. He lived in, I think, in Snohomish. So, Snoqualmie. Sorry, Snoqualmie. And like I said, he passed away in a car accident, which is an awful thing because he was so talented. So he did these things called the Friesenberg Concertos, where he takes like classical music and turns them into metal masterpieces. And the tone is very shrill, and it's definitely early, like 4-track, 8-track type of stuff. And programmed drums and everything. But get past it because he was a hell of a musician. I really like George Bellis. I think his music is utterly fantastic. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of. I'll say this much. I like a lot of people. Chris Impellitteri. Some guy named Joe Satriani. Nobody's ever heard of him. But the thing with me is I probably have heard it, and if I liked it, it's already an influence. Hey man, how's it going? For me, it's going pretty well, and just hanging out, minding my own business, being asked questions and answering them the best I can. But don't worry, I got a bunch of that, in store as well. Fun. Oh, I got a lot of delay on that. But it was for the little things like... So, fun. But no, as far as like guitarists that I may have heard them in passing and just not caught the name. But I guarantee you, if I like what you've played, you've influenced me in some way. So it's all... that's just what it is. Let's say... Remember the guy who asked for that Megadeth cover? The guy who asked for the Megadeth cover, specifically which one? We're talking about the... Are we talking about that? Or are we talking about covering the Chris Polandy... type of things, which I've just butchered the shit out of. So please forgive me. But would that be you? Continue, please. What do you got to say, man? I can just look directly at the camera, but it's hard to read when I do that way. So... So, while I'm waiting, interestingly enough, who would have thought... Yeah, what? Can I do the Holy Wars again? Yeah. Oh, you actually wanted me to do a cover of Holy Wars? Shit, man. Okay, yeah, all right. I think that's a possibility, yes. Now, I have a few things to get through first, so please understand that, it's like a mountain climber. I'm climbing a mountain. This is my best analogy for this, so please bear with me. So, marching up, climb up a mountain. Really hard to do. Finally get to the summit, plant flag. Flag, my country, no flag, no country. Thanks, Eddie Izzard. Anyway, plant the flag, look around. This is great. All right, well, we did it. So we climb back down and we look for the next mountain. So I've got a couple of mountains in advance, including the... that I have to learn the Marty parts for, and I was working on that, and then I got distracted and I had to do some other stuff, and my finger went numb, so it made really, really hard to do. It's just normal now, it's fine, praise God. But here's the situation with that is once that's in the hole and the diary is done, So once that, thank you. So once that's out of the way, and then I've got an Exodus cover to do. Yeah, that's where the with volume. That's where those come in. So once those are out of the way, okay. Now the neat part about this is Dave online teaches you these riffs. So I don't even need to do really, with some exception, a like a full-blown tutorial, but I can tell you what I know. So, this, just walk it up from D to E, and this is all triplet. Practicing it without the notes. So, do that. To F. Okay. For the first one, for the second. No. Ah. No. Yes. And then you wash, rinse, repeat. Don't hit the G. That's wrong. Hit the B. Something like that. Now, I'm not going to teach it the way Dave would probably correct me, just so please understand that. I'm pretty sure that the way Dave plays some of this stuff is very unorthodox. How was that? No. We'll figure this out. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it's played with like upstrokes on the rhythms. Yeah. So there. No. Could be. Again. Ah! That's it. Nah, that's not it. Now, whatever Marty does, and I understand that there was like 2 or 3 scratch takes, and the first one there's a story behind it, and I don't really remember the details, but essentially Marty hated what was there, kind of had to sneak back into the studio after the fact and lay down something else, and Dave was like, I like what you did, don't change it. I like what you did, don't change it. Then when he changed it, he's like, okay, I like that better. But so there was a little bit of a back and forth to that, but. Maybe. Somewhere in there, like I said, I'll figure it out. The lead bit, though, to Mustaine's part, thank God, is much easier. And I think he just plays it straight all the way down. So that's not too hard. Something like that. Then he, does things and stuff and... something like that. So anyway, here. No. Yeah. We're figuring it out. We'll get there, and by the end of it, it'll be okay. And I'll have Marty on one side, which is me. So Kirky Friedman, and then Dave Meredith on the other side. And it'll be a lovely occasion. Unfortunately, I don't have a Kelly or a King V. So, it's not going to be done with, kind of respect due. And I'm not going to go run out and buy a Kelly or a King. Speaking of running out and buying something, let me mute this for a second. Because I got something. Which makes its debut in the, well, now, I guess, in the Exodus video. Come here, Tito. Hi! There we go. So... So, back to the favorite arpeggio thing. Assuming I'm in still a little bit of tune here. Yeah, that's good enough. So, oh, yeah, thank you. So, yeah, I like it very much myself. Yeah, technically, this is my third of the same model. With some slight differences in each of them being the year and, the color. So... And as far as the pickups are concerned, I even have a shirt. Of course, I'm not wearing it now, but it says "Save the Zebras," and it shows these. So I don't know, man. I really like the. I intended to have this completely blacked out, or maybe like DiMarzio. And I really don't care for DiMarzio. So anybody want to buy a DiMarzio deactivator? By the way, you see that blue guitar back there? Now has a blue pickup in it. That's a Guitar Heads pickup. Sounds, my opinion, a load better. For what I do, which is varied and not just all, kill all the time, than the deactivator. Deactivator's like, you like to play leads? Yes. Okay, then we're your guy. All right. Well, what about rhythms? Do you down tune? No. Yeah, okay, we're probably not for you then. It's not. It's just not. But this... So you can hear the difference between the sound of this guitar and that guitar. That guitar has ceramic pickups straight from Jackson. These are Tone Rider AC2s. And why are they Tone Rider AC2s? Alnico 2s. Isn't that kind of a classic thing? Or isn't that only like an 8K at the resonant peak? The answer is yes to all those questions. And it's because it's what I had lying around. I actually had some orange ones in there earlier on, and I remembered after I put them in that I hated the sound of them. I really did. So those are not going to go back in the guitar, like ever. But these... So it has a nice... I am out of tune. There we go. But not by much. Don't you love that? There it is. We'll get her. After all. There we go. This will be good for, 80s classic rock, thrash metal, all that kind of stuff. In other words, it's kind of, ready-made for like 70s, 80s music. For like the down tuning stuff, it does not have the right resonant peak for that. You want a higher resonant peak for that. Doesn't necessarily combine with output. So if you have something that's 17K, it isn't necessarily like the most raging output thing in the world, but those are usually tied together. So that's that. Yeah, man, Jackson's legendary. Yes, magnificent. A Minion, you've got the little V. Hey, can I borrow that and look as tall as Dave Mustaine while I'm doing that type of thing? Because I think that would be great. Anyway, this is going to be in the Exodus video. And because that one gets the squeals just a little bit better, this one's going to be Rick Hunolt. That's going to be Gary Holt. And we're all going to be happier probably in the end when that happens. But this guy, yes, new addition to the club. So I bought it new, but I didn't buy it new. Anybody want to hear the story? Good. I'm glad you want to hear it because I'm going to tell you, and it's a fast story. You'll at least get a kick out of it. So I saw it online. Just clicked on Musician's Friend, and it wasn't even a stupid deal of the day type of thing. And it was just like, hey, this is like $349. And I'm like, what? Because, at the time, these new were like, $600-700. And I'm like, oh, shit, I got to, but I just bought an amp. And I just bought that white guy back there. So, I was really conflicted about it, but I decided to go ahead and bite the bullet and kill my savings at it while I'm at it. So, just a little bit. When I bought it, they were like, hey, because it's Musician's Friend. They were like, hey, there's a Guitar Center, because we're related, down in Clackamas, Oregon, that has one. If you want, we'll just ship that up to you. And then these suspicious words came out. Now, it's just as new, but it's not in the box. So I'm like, all right, new open box. Let us know what you want. And they had choices. Now, I didn't see the let us know what you want. I just thought this is what's coming up. But when I finally figured it out, like 7 hours later, when they were already closed, hey, all I have to do is talk to them. Ask questions. I asked them questions. I'm like, all right, is that a floor model? They said, yeah, it's a floor model. I said, uh-huh. How scratched up is it? They said, well, to be honest, there's some scratch marks. We buffed it out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. Can I come and take a look at it? Because I work in Olympia, and you're an hour and a half from me. So they were like, well, if you want to come down here. I'm like, yeah, well, I kind of do. So yeah, I'd like to see what I'm getting into. And you know what? It's going to be free shipping anyway. So if I like it, I'm just going to take it today because I already paid for it. And they're like, well, I'll give you 10% off if you do. And I'm like, okay. So, because that paid for my gas right there, no problem. So I left work a couple hours early. Drive down, and the hour and a half drive is fun because it took about 2 hours to get there. Not really any problems in Washington State, but as soon as I crossed the border to Oregon, GPS on, said, welcome to Oregon. Everything was brake lights for the rest of the drive. I had like 8-9 miles to go. And I did an average of 2.5-3 miles an hour or so to get there. I'm telling you, it was a crawl. So I averaged, I don't know if it was really the average, but I'm telling you, it was really slow. And I went through Iron Maiden's Seventh Son of a Seventh Son almost entirely by the time I got there. So going on with the story, I get in there, and I walked in. I'm Kirk Meredith. I'm here from Olympia, Washington for a Black Jackson. And one guy was like, got it. It's in the back. Hey, bathroom's over here if you got to pee. So like, I'm 50. How did you know that was a thing? So I didn't even feel it until we hit the brakes. So at that point, it was like, oh, God, just went. So at any rate, they hit the can. He brings it out. I don't know what they've got it strung up with, but this string is like G. This is, freaking, I don't know, Q sharp. This is, I'm going to just say this is 11. If these were notes, it would be that far out of tune. It was so bad. The action on it was like that high, and everything was locked. How do you do that? Anyway, so I go out and I said, look, do you have a 3mm Allen wrench and a Phillips head screwdriver? Because also, and this pickup, the white one, because these were white, was like slammed and kind of angled this way. I'm like, it's unplayable. So they were like, well, I've got this multi-tool. I say, I'll take it. Don't worry. I actually know how to do setups. I build my own guitars. So that's a thing. And they left me alone. It was amazing. They just kind of set me down with an EVH 5150 Mark III Stealth, the big one. And it's cabinet that comes with it. So I've got $3,000 worth of gear I'm plugging a $300 guitar into. And I just think it's very comical. And I undo everything. I tuned up best as possible, and I start to play on it and get it, action kind of decent. And I realized these two frets are fretting out, so fret job, that's going to have to happen. I'm going to have to dye the fretboard because it's kind of Babinga. How do I feel about nu metal? Did you ask me this question before? By the way, do listen to that note. got kind of an awe sound to it all. Oh, and what sustain, may I add? Well, somebody asked me about it before, and I'm going to do two things, and this is going to dampen the blow. If you really like it, sit down. But if you don't really care for it, you won't mind the subtle backhanded compliments I'm going to make to it. It existed. I am very happy that nu metal existed so it could end. I think that they needed to stay in school and learn how to spell. I don't like Hooked on Phonics. And the phonetic English language is a problem. I am very happy that they drew more kids back towards the metal scene, or even young adults back towards the metal scene, because grunge and alternative did an amazing job, especially the record companies did an amazing job of slaying the decent music that was being produced around the same time that was emergent. So the fact that they existed makes me kind of happy, and I'm happier it's gone. That's my take. It could be a lot worse if you want me to be honest. So, but that was all honest anyway. So but anyway, this needed a lot of work, and so I brought it home. Immediately set about doing a fret job, dyeing the fretboard, because chocolatey brown, but kind of light chocolatey brown, does not match black. It just doesn't. So I wanted it to be kind of seamless. So did that, added the linseed oil, and it's all good. But yeah, that was that. Once the fret job was done, you can hit notes with impunity. Put the new pickups in the next day. Hated them. Put the next new pickups in the next day after there. Like 2 days later, I actually bought new pickups for it. They actually did not fit because China. But I like cheap pickups, so there you go. But these are hand wound in Britain, and you yourself can get a pair for I think $107 now, which is really something because when I first heard of them, they were $104 a set. Now they're $107. So inflation has gotten everybody. They got these guys by like $3. So it's pretty cool. The AC4s, these are directly related. It's the same wind of pickup, the same wire and everything. AC4s have Alnico 4 magnets. These have Alnico 2. They also have a generator called Alnico 5, with Alnico 5 magnets. So, Earl, have you stopped laughing yet at my take on nu metal? Or are you considering just never coming back or something because I really insulted you? I hope not. But if I did, take it for granted that it's the same opinion I have about country music. I don't really care for it. I like bluegrass, but as far as like country music is concerned, especially modern pop country music, I'm glad it exists. Makes people want to play guitar. Very happy about that. If we didn't have modern country, we wouldn't have Andy Wood. Technically, that's a bluegrass thing too, because he was a bluegrass mandolin player. But that's what he would do. But yeah, it wasn't for me. Maybe one exception. I think everybody knows about what is that? Wake Me Up Inside. But I'll never. That's not my kind of music. But I do like the female vocalist of Evanescence at the time. Sounded really nice. What she reminded me of was the vocalist for Lacuna Coil. And I thought that the vocalist for Lacuna Coil sounded a little bit like Natalie Merchant, and I always liked the vocalist of Natalie Merchant. So there you go. So I would prefer to listen to 10,000 Maniacs than nu metal. And my channel name, besides Kirk's Chop Shop, is Ye Old Thrash Dude. So I'm an old thrash dude, and I would prefer 10,000 Maniacs over Korn any day of the week. So, what is that? Let's annoy people with bad noises and flat seconds. Bill. This. Thanks, Bill. This is best cat dad ever. Thank you very much. I'm keeping the shine off of you folks. You should be very happy about that. So. But I had an arpeggio to play. So besides the this, Bill, you asked a long time ago about my favorite arpeggios. So I like to do extended arpeggios, especially on one string. So besides that whole Bruce Boyer, which is another underrated guitarist he was in Racer X, he's known, but most people when you go Bruce Boyer, they're like, what? So Bruce Boyer, this guy. Excuse me. That's it. Dang it! I don't know where I'm at. That guy, he's amazing. So I love that. This is a full-blown, starting a fifth lower, 1 octave, 2 octave, almost an octave. I mean, that would be... There it is. It's just like doing this. In fact, you can do that if you want. Excuse me. I haven't done that in a long time, though. This is more common. Much more common, even though I played that very poorly too, so pardon me. But this... Again, I haven't played that in like 20 years. 25 years almost. So, but that's, you know, stuff that I used to do that was kind of neat. But I enjoyed doing arpeggios like that because, you know, it's a big jump, you know, and if you're on the roller coaster of music, that's, you know, way up there and then right back down again. It's almost like you're going straight up and then straight down. So it's kind of neat. The another one though, that's just, oh, you guys familiar with this classic metal tune? So, baby, hold on to me. So that can be done with arpeggios too. You're literally playing an augmented arpeggio on that. So now the augmented, you can play that up all sorts of ways. This, though, would just be like whole tone. That's that. All right. Well. here's a neat thing that you may or may not know. All right. Same thing. Harder to do. Much harder, in fact. So if I was to just hit this, for instance, you could do things like that, which is kind of cool. I'm assuming that's you, Bill. Thank you. Take it up about 5 frets. And just play the 5th fret harmonic there. So if I'm... Yeah. It works with all of the strings, too. That's very Satriani. With that little echo in the background. How did I go? What do you hate about the Iconic, dude? Let's see if I can read that. If I move these things. No. There we go. I do hate one thing about... Yeah, what do you hate? What do you hate about the Iconic, man? Is it the harmonics are problematic, or... The location of the control panel. On top? Behind? It's not too uncommon. Especially for like classic amps. Have a listen to that. I don't even have stainless steel saddles in this one. Yeah, I forgive it too. It's iconic. Arpeggios I really like to. I'd like to do the yeah. Excuse me. What would that be? And then... So I have to think about crap like that. Who's that cheeky monkey? Mm? Really not doing that. Really not doing that well today on the sweeps, am I? Something my old guitar teacher used to talk about a lot is kind of sweeping. into scale shapes. So that's a seventh, minor 7. You can do it that way too, which is kind of neat. No, there's no Kramers back there. This is the closest thing to a Kramer, but I do have 4 Jacksons now and a Charvel, making my wall of Jacksons complete. It's called Jacksonia. They're not all up there because they're actually going to be in use. So they're going to be kind of transferring places back and forth. But yeah, the Jacksonia wall is complete, and I'm very happy about that, I guess. There is, on the other hand, a new blue pickup, and I was mentioning that before in the Ibanez up there, which I'm really kind of sad about because I wanted to use Jacksons only and a Strat for the Randy thing, as far as like diary goes. I wanted to be as authentic as possible and as accurate as possible and as sensitive as possible because I'm such a Randy fan. I wanted to pay tribute and a just tribute it needs to be. So on top of me not using the real amps for something that I've got the tone nailed, I'm just using the Archetype Revia, and it's Randy. that's it, man. It works. This, on the other hand, is so right. Pop that off there. It's like an old DiMarzio Super Distortion. Let me grab that. This will be where the culmination of the whole thing goes. All right. Sorry about all the noise. But yes, the very, very... Oh, I can't plug it in. Oh, no. There we go. So, similar tone, but a little bit more sharpness. Yeah. Okay, so... The tone's there. Of course, this is a little bit more, pushed, and it's got a whole lot more delay, but it's essentially it. It's just got a nice classic sound to it. It's not pushed too much, and it does not have a lot of modern sensibilities. It is like an old SD from DiMarzio, and those were good pickups. So I could do all sorts of maideny thing. Fun stuff. There's something about 9.5s to 46 tuned half step down and 2 cents lower than that that really, really likes this whole thing here. It's very... And then I proceed to destroy myself and my reputation. That one's fun. So what is that? 4-note per strings. Who does that? That's fun to do, besides Rusty Cooley. This... Or right. Hey, Hoppy. Fun. You try that at home. If you do, please put on some safety glasses or at least something to guide the, guard the light a little bit. It's good to do. Oh, and name that tune. And I've got a blue pickup cover coming for this. Excuse me. And then back again. I keep wanting to do shit like that. You want up, little man? Actually, that would be down a little. Oh, yeah. So a correction from one of my earlier streams, long time ago. This diminished all the way. No problem. Easy peasy. This, not down a fret or up 2 frets. So... Please, by all means, overband, and make it sound as bad as possible because, you only live once. But yeah, this, that. I think it's minor. Nope, major. If you like pina coladas. It is a blast from the past, I agree. So this is a funny happenstance. So I got a good sustain on this too. So I got a message on one of my videos. It was the upload for the mashup I did a long time ago. The first mashup I did, which was the Ozzy mashup. Still the most viewed video I've ever done, which is hilarious to me. Let's go back and find out how many views it's got now. Dashboard, Ozzy Van Halen, Crap Jump, or Crazy Jump, the Crap mashup. We are currently sitting at, 76,900 views. Why? I was the only person that did it, I guess. So that's that. So it turned out to be a thing. I just wish I was better at it when I did it, but I wasn't. And it's arguable that I'm really not that much better at it now, but I think I'm better. But I'm using different tools, and it works out pretty interestingly sometimes. But ask Madonna and Judas Priest. My wife hates it, thinks it's the cringiest thing in the world, and I think the divorce is on. Anyway, so yeah, she says it's terrible. My kid doesn't like it much either, so I think I'm alone with musicians that think it's amusing. So thanks, everybody who thinks it's amusing. But no, I got hit up by a guy named Vincent. And the name was familiar. And the face was familiar. And as it turns out, I worked with this guy for like 10 years. And I checked out his channel. I'm like, Vinny! And he's a drummer. I had no idea. And he plays like rock, pop, 38 Special, Huey Lewis and the News type of things, and some more modern like pop rock type of stuff. Dan Fogelberg. Yeah, that's the name of the guy. Yeah. Well, anyway, at some point I mentioned that, hey, I had no idea you played the drums, blah, blah, blah. If you ever want a guitar player for anything, let me know. And he says, well, maybe we could do the Pina Colada song. It needs more guitars. Well, I'll just play the parts as they are. Because that's important. You can do it up here if you want. Make it all nice and Hawaiian sounding. And then, which is the weirdest thing. But it's the only thing that it does throughout the whole song. And then, of course, you got the lead, which is more like a, what is it? Sorry, wrong key. Something like that. Easy. I mean, that's like taking a break for me. Hey Kirk, you've been playing a lot of hard and heavy, things. What is that? Metal stuffs. What are you gonna do now? I think I'm going to take a break to play some Dan Fogelberg. Yeah. Poorly. But you can do it too. This is essentially F, A minor, G, F. This is just major triad. That's that, starting on the D string. Then you're playing this, and you're not even playing the roots to these, but B flat minor 7, or major 7. And if you're wondering why major 7th sounds so sad, it's just basically you're combining a major chord and a minor chord. This is a minor. It's just D minor. But you play it here, and it's root 5, 3, major chord. Seven. And that 7 is related to that. It's a 1, 2, 3. That's the 5th of the relative minor there. So, the two together is kind of a whimsy. The cool thing about sevenths is, and to some degrees nines, or, stuff like that as well. Sharp 9. 9. Is that, you can just kind of move them around. Bounce it off a pedal point if you want. Back to the 7. Nicer voicing of 7 besides this. With a major third right there as opposed to higher. Always like that voicing. Or I still prefer the two major, minor, major. And this works anyway. And this is just a messing around. Yeah. Just wanted to hold on to the whole chord while I was doing that. Now, if you play something like that, you kind of have to, I mean, it's important. So I'm going to go back to crazy lead tone for a second here. So this is an Alex Skolnickism. That's a mouthful. It's kind of a half diminished shape. You get the blues. E, so A sharp, A again, G, E, and then that's B. So get that nice, tone there. So one other thing that I'll do is I do like doing the tremolo picking on top of an arpeggio. So one last arpeggio thing, and then I'm out, baby. I'm out. So I said I'm out, baby. I'm out. So we got a nice minor arpeggio there. So on one of those notes up there, maybe we'll actually kill that and go back to this. There we go. Yeah, it's a little more, woo! I like to hang on to those and tremolo pick. So and maybe so. But I can't do that. I can do that. I'm really digging into that one, aren't I? But you can do it with any arpeggio shape. Again, with the tremolo picking on top of an arpeggio. It's a Bruce Boyer-ism. Lots of isms today. All right, well, now that we've ended on that major disappointment. Oh! Name that tune. No, actually. Something like. That's it. Yeah. I don't know, I'm just goofing off, but no. Try King Diamond off of the Them album. If you're not familiar, become familiar, because even if you don't like the singing, there is real treasure in the guitar playing. And I found that with King Diamond with me, the thing that I had to get over the most was, listening to the nearly male coloratura register, male soprano, essentially. Style vocals. It was very shrill and shriekish, but once you get into it, holy crap, it's amazing. But the thing that really drew me was, the very, very heavily neoclassically influenced guitars. And they've got like the best vibrato ever. I mean, they just do. Who does stuff like that? No. Something like that. I used to know how to. It was a long 25 years, anniversary. So almost 10 years ago, I learned how to play this stuff. But, good times, man. I mean, seriously. So Sepultura-ism. Yeah, that's a word too. That would be more like the. Or let's see. This King Diamond and Sabotage hit you about the same spot. Okay, so I'm not sure about the thing, but it exists. That. I'm really not. It's not coming out right. Let's go back to that. Anyway, so the toneful genius would be what I'm tentatively calling Tito back there. I mean, granted, that would be Michael, but, you know, I don't call it that. I call it Whitey Jackson. But tentative Tito is pretty good. The only thing I would change right now about this guitar, besides making this blue, is taking the finish off this neck. But I got to be real delicate about doing that because, you know, lacquer or not, the fretboard also is lacquered, and I don't want to take that off quite yet. So I basically have to take it right on up to the edges of the fretboard, blend it in nicely, and then just tongue oil it, or, you know, Danish oil it, which is probably what I'm going to be doing. So that's it, folks. It's 2010. I've been streaming now for about 2 hours, and I'm going to call it a gay. No, Pride Month notwithstanding. I'm going to call it a day, and I'm going to be slightly poorly Irish about it because I'm getting pooped, and y'all... Thank you, Bill, for sticking around with me. I appreciate you more than you know. Thanks for sticking around, and you enjoy your granddaughter tomorrow. So, take it easy, man. Good night, and have a pleasant Tuesday. And also, play faster than me, for God's sake.